Welcome to the Beige Planet podcast, kiddos. I'm Paul Pate.
I'm Al Lawrence.
And our guest is the DJ Joe Osborne. How you
Well,
been,
guys,
Joe?
how you doing?
Good. So tell us about yourself, Joe.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, you and I go back many, many, many years, and
Way too many, right?
way too many. The gray hairs are showing. But I'm 48 years old, father of two. Got a 23-year-old and I got a 12-year-old. I am a co-owner of At Your Service Entertainment. That services basically all of Michigan. So whatever the wedding or the corporate event or any type of party, we provide the musical memories for it. In fact, little known fact, Paul, that I am now entering my 30th year for doing this line of work.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah,
Thank
in case you don't know, I know Joe from Flint, Al, and he's
Okay.
like a true old school DJ radio guy. The kind that Jimmy Fallon makes fun of. Good morning, folks. Right? Tell us a little bit about your radio days, Joe.
Wow. Well, that's part of where that 30 years comes into play. Back in '84, when I was a senior in high school, lived out west in a little town called Cody, Wyoming, believe it or not. The high school had a radio station, KYDZ. It was a little 100-watt radio station. And that's really where everything kind of kicked off for my career. Did some part-time gigs in and around Wyoming, anywhere from on-air part-time to actually was promoted news director to one radio station. The career actually shifted back to the Flint area. The old days when 105 used to be rock and roll. I was there back then. I was there back in the early 90s on Cars 108.
Yep, I remember that. I was there.
So, so the career has spanned quite a few years.
Awesome. I don't know if we actually ever worked together. I think we crossed paths, but we know, a bunch of people together. There goes, right. Shoot, Joe. We lost him again. Lost.
Freeze the video there and try and pick it back up.
I'm here.
Okay. Shoot. Your video. Yeah. Okay, let's just go on. We'll edit it.
I wanted to do a quick trivia. See if we can stump the DJ.
Yeah. Let's do that. I dare you to try.
All right. My first one is who did the song "I Feel Better Than James Brown"?
Okay.
Here I was bragging up your vast knowledge, Joe.
You remind me of a buddy of mine that my weak point for music is probably country music, and I got a buddy of mine, my co-partner in my DJ company. He's always trying to get me on country music trivia. Once in a great while, I'll pull one out of my butt, but other than that, it seems like it all runs the same. So, Al, you got me on that one. I don't know.
I'll give you a quick hint. You have to know who did the song "Walk the Dinosaur."
Well, that'd be Was Not Was.
Right. That's who did "I Feel Better Than James Brown."
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It's an awesome song. It's hilarious, and it's a great dance song too. You should the YouTube video of it sucks because they never actually made a video for that song, or though they did, but somebody recorded it off the TV or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a hilarious, great dance song. For some reason, I don't know why it never gained popularity, because I thought it was better than "Walk the Dinosaur."
I love that song, "Walk the Dinosaur."
Oh,
It's a good song.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Was.
Yeah, was not was.
Hey, let's set the context for this whole discussion. I want to pose a question, okay? Van Halen, David Lee Roth, or Sammy Hagar? Al.
David Lee Roth.
I'm David Lee Roth. Joe?
David Lee Roth.
Oh, okay. Good. We're all on the same page there. That's unexpected. Unexpected.
Yeah. Didn't he come back with them?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with them.
Yeah, I haven't heard much.
They might be walking the dinosaur.
Well, yeah, we know that Motley Crue is. They're riding off into the sunset, so some of these older rock groups can't be too far behind.
See, I'm an '80s music guy. I back there in the '80s, anything you wanted, it was available. So I like the overall sound of the '80s. '90s kind of killed it for me. That grunge thing started wearing up. It made me want to commit suicide. That's pretty much what every song was about.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I've got my XM in the truck. It's either the 70s at 7 or the 80s at 8. I'm usually flip-flopping between the two of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I lost a lot of interest in the 90s. I'm there with you guys. I described your taste in music, Al, as a little less into the pop. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I've kind of left the pop scene. I've gone more towards. I've been really getting into movie soundtracks.
See, I'm like hardcore into pop, right? If they don't have a greatest hits, I don't have time for it. I don't know. It's a sad statement about myself, but that's I like the popular music, but
still, my favorite group though is non-rock wise. It would be, and I'm sure Joe, you're familiar with Yellow.
Yes.
They just released a new album, and they redid several of their older songs. They redid "Oh Yeah," they redid "Bostic."
Nice.
And it's called "Touch Yellow."
Okay.
There's maybe through Paul or whatever, I can get you a link to this Japan Disc Center. You can get it for $11 instead of paying $34 here. It's a phenomenal album, and you can also go on YouTube if you search "Touch Yellow." I think you'd be incredibly impressed with what they did with their sound. It's unlike anything they've ever done before.
Joe, what about your taste in music? I know like pop music in and out. From doing weddings and different events.
Really, the musical taste. I do everything I can to stay up on the current music trend because of inherently what you said about doing receptions, parties, even sweet 16 birthdays and things like that. But when I'm not doing that and I am say on my own time, like I earlier mentioned, it's kind of that 70s, 80s, early 90s type music genre. It's just one of those where you might have heard that song a million times, but it doesn't get old. I find the radio going up louder and louder. It's just it's just that type of era that I still enjoy.
Awesome. So I want to get to our questions.
Sure.
One of them is being a DJ an art form? Al and I touched on that in one of our podcasts earlier. What would you say?
I think, some can make the argument that, hey, he's just a DJ. All you got to do is just play music. Others may argue that, a DJ is a musician, especially when you're taking musical samples, you're remixing, you reprogram it, and you put it out like it's almost something entirely new. I mean, you can almost classify that as a musician. I definitely think that being a DJ is definitely an art form because it really it can take on a life of its own, depending on the event, because sometimes you're asked to do things above and beyond, what you would normally do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. The connection with the crowd too is what I find to be.
I was just going to throw in. It also involves acting.
that's a good point too, Al. Because I was going to say, even from the radio days, if you take DJs like Casey Kasem, or even some of your local DJs. Another one was WJR's JP McCarthy. I mean, these are radio hosts that they talked to you and not at you, and that's hard to find nowadays when you can really connect to your audience and you feel like you're sitting right across from them, even though you may be hundreds of miles away.
Right.
So I really think that being a DJ is an art form.
Yeah, so do I, definitely. Now, I know you love music, and I've seen you, by the way, I've seen you perform, just being a DJ, and like the Big Bopper comes on and you nail every word.
I still know the words, Paul. So.
That's awesome. Do you play any instruments?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I play drums. That's the primary, musician or music of choice. I'm not like Buddy Richard Neilpert by any stretch of the imagination, but I started off 6th grade, 7th grade. I kind of took it all the way through college, had a few, high school garage bands here or there. Haven't played in a few years, but, every so often the family gets together. I have some uncles that, kind of get their buddies together and have a good old jam session. So sometimes I'll take that opportunity and go play. Also play a little bit of piano. I can read some sheet music, but most everything I try to do is just like you usually pick it up quicker by playing by ear.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you think today's music stacks up to the oldies? I mean, any music from today that you're liking compared to?
This is prior to our little podcast right here that we're doing. I actually took some time to do some research on this. I really think, the days of the 3 chords and a harmony, that's kind of the golden age of music right there. I think what's really how it stacks up today. A lot of people are flash in the pan. I don't think that any of today's music is going to have the same fan base 20, 30 years down the road. 20, 30 years down the road, Miley Cyrus is not going to be, touring. Britney Spears is not going to be touring.
We have to wait 20 to 30 years for that.
I was just gonna say.
But but the point I'm making is that look at Paul McCartney and Billy Joel. I mean, these guys are, especially Paul McCartney, who's in his 70s and he's still touring. Rolling Stones still touring. I mean, these are their style of music. Has just stood the test of time. I think.
I was gonna say I just went and saw Sting in concert down in Detroit.
Perfect example.
And I thought it was like one of those nostalgia tours. But it ended up being, he said right on stage, they're going to have to drag his cold dead body off the stage before he quits.
That's awesome.
I do have have to counter one thing because even though, trust me, I would never go see Britney Spears. But she signed a contract for like 10 years, I think in Vegas. She kind of did the same thing Billy Joel did at Madison Square Garden. Signed this long-term deal to continue performing. I can't remember how many performances she's obligated to do a year, but
I can't believe that people. She puts on a big show. I mean,
yeah,
that's what draws people.
I mean, Fleetwood Mac. They're touring. Kiss. Kiss is gonna tour again. Look how old Cher is. It's music that stood the test of time.
Right.
So by saying that, though, and Al, you may agree or disagree, I think what really has ruined a lot of today's music, or has taken the individuality out of creating music, is sampling. I think sampling has
I wholeheartedly agree.
I think sampling has killed music a little bit.
That and American Idol.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't. You know, funnily enough, I really don't watch any of that. I don't watch The Voice or American Idol.
Yeah.
I mean, I did at first, but after a while, it's, you know.
Well, I mean, a classic example of how bad American Idol is. I think it was the second or third season. I can't remember. I quit watching, but the guy one of the guys who got voted off because he was doing his own original music.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the public wanted just rehashing of other people's stuff. This guy actually had talent. You know, he could read, he could write. He was a composer. He was a singer. You know, he was a singer-songwriter, which we don't see anymore.
Well, Daughtry came off there. He's good.
Yeah, that's him. He got voted off because he was doing.
Right.
Yeah, it was Daughtry. He was doing mostly his own music.
He's good though.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
Here's another good one here. Hang on, guys. I want to try something. We can't go through this whole podcast without playing some music. Can you guys hear it?
Oh yeah.
This is John Mayer. I think he'll stand the test of time.
He gets on
Phenomenal guitar player.
He has a great guitar player, but
he gets on your nerves, Al.
Yeah, it's his. He's always putting his private life in the public, and I really don't need to hear about that.
Yeah, he's got an entertaining private life.
Well, going back to that topic, and you know, I know we're running short on time and stuff. To me, it just seemed like sampling has ruined a lot of today's music. It's made certain people big stars off of it. I mean, the king of sampling probably is Will Smith. You know, he's taken songs like Men in Black, which sampled Patrice Rushen's Forget Me Nots, Miami, which sampled The Whispers, and the beat goes on, Getting Jiggy With It, sampled from Sister Sledge, He's the Greatest Dancer. So
I don't even think he's a good rapper.
I mean, you take that out of the mix, and Will Smith is just the Fresh Prince. I mean, you know, he's not on Independence Day or anything like that. He's just so.
There's another example, and I got into an argument with a guy over this because P. Diddy, or whatever he's calling himself now, did that song.
The Diana Ross song.
No, the Police song, Every Breath You Take.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Sting sang on it, that one at the Grammys or something like that, and I was a little upset with him over that. But I got into an argument with the guy because he was telling me that he allowed Sting to use that music. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, I said, this song was written before you were even born. And he said, no, it wasn't. P. Diddy wrote it. I said, dude, look, it's right there on the cover on your little cassette tape. Look it up. And
all you have to do is, you know, tell him to Google Police Synchronicity, and he'll see Every Breath You Take on there.
Yeah, it's just, and it's the sampling.
So this guy didn't even know about the original.
Yeah, he never
music.
even knew. No, he thought it was P. Diddy's original music that Sting came to sing on. I'm saying,
man.
Hey Al, I'm going to throw a little trivia back at you. Not so much posing it as a question, but since we're kind of on this sampling topic, you know, sampling goes back probably with copyrighted music back into the early 60s. In fact, the Beatles sampled the French national anthem, La Marseillaise.
yes.
And All You Need Is Love. At the beginning, you know, the horns. Bum, 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 bum.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's sampling even from the Beatles.
Wow.
Right.
But they don't let anybody else sample their stuff, believe it or not. Because Beastie Boys, the Chemical Brothers, Wu-Tang Clan have recorded songs that have Beatles samples, but legally it will never ever see the light of day because the Beatles will not let any of their sampled music go public.
I didn't know.
Wow. I think the Bee Gees would let let their music be sampled.
I
They're not gonna.
I knew you were going to bring disco at some point.
Well, let's not, no disco haters. I like disco myself.
Now, I like. Don't get me wrong. I like the Beatles, but just because everybody likes the Beatles doesn't mean that they're better than the Bee Gees.
Okay, good point. But I will admit, every now and then I got to put on "Staying Alive," and I strut around my room.
You strut. Yes.
Now, if you're gonna throw Bee Gees into the mix, you got to broaden your horizons a little bit. There's actually a song they do is really cool called "The Nights on Broadway." If you haven't heard it,
yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal song. Phenomenal song.
I have the I don't know where it's at right now. I got all my vinyl put away, but I do have the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. I will admit. And one of my favorite songs on that is "Night on Disco Mountain."
Having to talk to Paul too. It's been a long time. I remember him belting out Stevie Wonder's "Boogie on Reggae Woman." I remember you doing that one time, way back in the day.
Yeah. I love some Stevie Wonder.
I know. It's not to like about Stevie.
I met him, didn't I?
What's it? You did?
Yeah, I met him in 1989.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I worked at the what used to be the Holiday Inn downtown East Lansing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was staying there for the. You remember the Michigan festivals they had?
Yeah, man. They had some great acts there. I saw Smokey Robinson there. Remember the Nylons?
Yeah.
The Bangles were there.
I met Susanna Hoff.
Oh yeah.
Same year that Stevie Wonder was there.
Wow, I didn't know.
She's short.
Yeah.
She's hot. She's short.
Well, maybe it's been a long time. Maybe she's taller now.
And no.
Well, I guess that happens when you walk like an Egyptian. I don't know.
There you go.
Hey, now, so we talk about music of today, that it's been kind of ruined. I know that I'm a big fan of John Mayer, and he's actually talked about this. That the kids don't learn instruments. The way, because schools are cutting out music and things like that.
We just covered last week too.
Yeah, we talked about that. But one thing about today is you have access because of the internet to all types of music, different kinds of music. You're not limited to what's on the radio. So I wanted to bring up something. You guys know I got bad taste in music, so I'm not ashamed to say I like this electronic swing. I listen to it on Spotify, and it's stuff that you would just not hear on the radio. I would never hear it if it wasn't for the internet. What's that?
The mojito dance brought that into play. The mojito Bacardi song.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar, but
the guy's name is Pavlov or something like that. I can't remember his last name. I'll send you some. I got a bunch of that electronic swing stuff.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool music.
So, Joe, are you sticking to the 70s and 80s, or have you gotten something, off the beaten path lately?
Lately, no. But I need to though. I know.
Well, it's funny because with your work, it's not going to work. Something off the beaten path isn't going to work. People, when they're at a party, they want to hear a song that they know so they can, dance. And if you throw something in that they don't know or they're not familiar with.
Probably the only time I'm going to get off the beaten path is, if I'm doing an event that requires some international flavor. I know in the past I have done a reception where the bride was either Japanese, Filipino, I think was Ukrainian, and had to get certain music just for the family members that were there. So, so it covered everybody.
Right. You played polka and stuff like that.
Really quick, if you are into this electronic swing, the guy's name is Parov Stellar. That's Parov, and then Stellar is Stelar. The Bacardi song is called Chambermaid Swing. And then there's another disc called The Princess. I've got a bunch of his songs. It's great. I think as a DJ, you'd really like it. I mean, you could very easily use this style of music.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Especially, I mean, everyone recognizes the Bacardi song.
Can you play it? Can you play it there, Alan? See if we can get it.
Yeah, here, hold on. This is
Rock it. Crank it up.
That's such a good beat to it.
Is it playing out? We're not getting it. We're not getting it at all. No. Stop it. Joe?
Yes.
Oh, you're getting it, Joe?
Oh, no, I'm not getting it. I thought you were asking me a question.
I guess for some reason it's not making through my speaker.
All right, I'll sample it in. Email me now. I'll put it in the first.
Dead time while I'm going like this and looking like an idiot.
You don't have to do that to look like an idiot.
Oh.
I'm wearing this freaking hat. Give me a All right, guys. Listen, we're at the part where we talk. You got to have something random for us, Al.
Well, I was just going to mention that one of these podcasts, I wore the shirt. I should have worn my Darth Vader helmet today. I was planning on doing one of our podcasts with my Darth Vader helmet on.
I'm all for it.
I thought you were going to slip and say dark helmet. Come on. I heard it.
It almost did come. Well, I'm eating a gummy bear too. That's the problem.
Excuse.
I'm trying to think. There were some crazy things that did happen to me this week. I'm trying to formulate them into a coherent thought. Well, I wanted to let Paul know I may be moving back into East Lansing.
Oh, nice.
On Party Central Road, Spartan. Because we got a contract, a new contract with one of the student rental companies out there.
Oh, okay.
And part of the deal was we negotiated a possible studio.
Oh, all right. Well, co-eds in East Lansing, look out. Al the Beige is on. You can find him on Twitter at Al the Beige.
Al,
you are going to provide me with your address, right?
I'll be the dirty old man sitting out there drinking a beer.
Fine. Now that's two dirty old men. So.
He'll be wearing shorts, no shirt on, sunglasses. Hey, baby, what your name is?
Hey,
so is it inappropriate to use the Blazing Saddles sheriff bit where he goes, "Hey, where are the white women at?"
Yeah, that's totally inappropriate. You should go for it.
Perfect.
Oh, now really quick too, because Joe mentioned he had a 23-year-old. My son just turned 23 yesterday.
Hey, congratulations.
Yes, he's a good kid. He's a lot better than me. He's in Spain. He got an internship coaching the Spain's 19 and under national lacrosse team.
Wow.
Oh, awesome.
You must be proud. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I don't have anything. My week has been boring. This whole password thing. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
How do you guys manage your passwords?
I've got a vault.
You do?
A vault. I should say.
What about you, Joe?
I usually have about 4 total passwords that I use for a variety of things.
Do you write it down, or do you
No,
keep it online, or you just keep it in your head?
I keep it in my head.
Oh my goodness!
My Well, my security has a password vault, and when it enters my password, it encrypts it.
Okay. So
Nice.
when you say vault, you're not talking about like you're talking about online or on your computer.
Yeah, on my security software.
Oh, okay.
I
Wow.
use I use Norton 360. Today's sponsor. Sorry.
Shameless plug.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning.
If you're supposed to be at work at 8:30, you're late.
And now a word from our sponsor, Norton 360.
Hey, don't be checking the mailbox for any checks from Norton soon for shameless plugs on the air. Doesn't work like that.
Oh yeah, Joe, I want to ask you: are you familiar with Rich Michaels?
No.
He was you remember him, Paul?
Yeah. Man, that brings back that's
Yeah,
a blast from the past.
Rich
well, he was pretty cool back then. He was on 95 WVIC,
Yeah.
um, and then he subsequently over the years he's been fired from just about every radio station in Michigan.
Yeah. There
Uh,
was a there
I was
was a guy in, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering if Joe was familiar. He turned himself into a shock jock. Um, his last gig was WMMQ. Are you familiar with that station?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, sure.
It's one of the last rock stations in the area. Um, and he was fired from there, throwing the N word around
Oh, jeez.
on the air.
But do you remember Bob Odell, Joe?
Oh yeah.
He was just wild. That guy was just I don't I spent a couple of weekends with him, and I was like, he was like 40 years old. I don't know how he made it to 40. The guy was he was a DJ, and he worked, I don't know, afternoons, but then he would host events and things on the weekends, and he was just wild, man.
There's only one true shock jock, and that's Howard Stern. Everybody else is a wannabe.
Yeah.
I mean, Howard set the bar too high that nobody else can really touch that. You can try to be a wannabe, but it doesn't really play like that.
No, you can't. He's the master. Yeah, you're right. He set the bar way too high.
Joe, you got any random events you want to share with us?
Random events, actually, yeah, if you would allow me to. Actually, this is my first year for helping out this um, charity dinner dance benefit auction. It's April the 26th. It's down in Clarkston at the Deer Lake Athletic Club. The event is the Onyx Ball for Helping Hearts, Helping Hands. They provide relief for a girls' school down in Honduras, kind of like a child sponsor type thing, but they're doing like a dinner, an auction, a silent auction. And so my partner Dan and I are going to be providing the music and the MC duties for it that evening. It's on a Saturday from 5 p.m. till 1 a.m. So it should be a really, really good time. Definitely looking forward to it.
What's the date again?
April the 26th.
April the 26th. So that's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You can email me all that info, and Al and I'll start tweeting it, and we'll put it up on the website. And
yeah, it's on. Yeah, I have it on my Facebook. I know you've got access to my Facebook, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can repost it, and you can take it and run with it.
How do people get a hold of you, Joe?
Like email wise, or
do you got a web?
Yeah.
Actually, our website is under construction right now. We're adding a few different events to the overall scheme for the company. Wedding planning. We're doing uplighting. Eventually, we're going to be doing karaoke. I know we've kind of been dragging our heels on it because it seems like it's way overdone, but I think we're eventually going to start adding it. But go figure. It's such a cost to maintain karaoke because you gotta stay up on the songs. You gotta stay up on the songs.
Yeah.
With DJing, you don't have to as much because not everything that's hitting the charts is that good. So you can be selective and pick and choose. But best way to reach me is email right now. It's the number 2 eventdjs@gmail.com.
Got it. We'll put that up there too.
Excellent.
All right. Well, hey man, it's been great catching up with you, and been great having you on.
Thank you so much, man. This has been a blast.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's good. Music's like Al says, it's universal language, and it's just fun to talk about. I think we need to have this. We need to have it back on, and we'll incorporate music into the podcast more.
We'll have a scratch off.
And Al, I don't know what you think of this idea, but I was telling Joe before we started, when you were late, so maybe
My computer was scanning. That's why I was late.
Sure, okay.
I had porn on.
Well, it would be cool if we, because I want to have a music series and have a few different DJs, talk to them like we have Joe, and then have a panel discussion about, music, about Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth. Can we find any Sammy Hagar fans out there?
There's a few, but.
Well, Sammy by himself back in the day, yes. Sammy with Van Halen,
Said Van Hagar.
Yeah.
Anyway, good talking to you, Joe.
Thank you so much.
All right, this has been the Beige Planet Podcast. I'm Paul Bate.
I'm Al Lawrence.
Thank you, Joe Osborne. Good talking to you, man. We'll talk to you again sometime.